So I am here to talk about perspective. So working in this industry in New York for over a decade, at many large agencies, I've heard a lot of speakers in my time. And frankly, I couldn't name a lot of them, and I couldn't name a lot of the things that they've shared. But there was one thing that got me at the time, and it was a presentation I heard when I was working in London in 2006. I heard a presentation from Rory Sutherland, and he is currently the Executive Creative Director of Ogilvy One. I'm not sure if anybody's heard of him, but he does have some TED Talks out there, so you can take a look at him online or read some articles that he's written. But he's a phenomenal storyteller, and what he presented at that time in my life changed everything I knew and frankly what I believed. It challenged what was ingrained in me from my parents from early childhood till that point. So keep in mind, there's something about my background, just how I grew up, to give you some perspective. When I went to college, I was slated to get a Bachelor of Science in Marketing, and with that I could graduate in 3.5 years. However, my dad told me at the time that I needed to make it worth it for him to pay for that last semester to complete my 4 years, so I had to take on an accounting major. Everything I grew up with was very black and white. It was all about the facts. There was little gray area, little room for creativity. So back to Rory's presentation, what he talked about, what changed me, was what he had to say about perspective and the power of reframing things. So I want everybody to close your eyes. Imagine you walk into your front yard. It's obviously not going to be tonight because of the snow. And you see a dandelion. You pick the dandelion. Why did you pick it? Is it because dandelions are weeds and you wanted to remove it? Or is it because, with your somewhat childlike sense of wonder, you believe you can blow on that dandelion and make a wish as the seeds fly away? Open your eyes. Perspective. Some people see dandelions as weeds. Others see them as hope and the possibility of a wish coming true. It's the whole idea of a glass being half full or half empty. Both are actually very accurate. It's just how you view it. It's your perspective. So one of the examples Rory gave way back in the day that made me want to be a part of this industry, to understand consumers, to look beyond the facts and more towards the heart of the matter to gain real insights, was years ago when the Eurostar, does everybody know what the Eurostar is? It's a high-speed train from London to Paris. So back in its early years, a bunch of engineers were given the challenge of how to make that experience more pleasant for consumers. So people riding on the train, it took over 3.5 hours to get from London to Paris. So engineers were given this challenge of how to make it more enjoyable. So after lots of research, looking at numbers, looking at spreadsheets, they figured out a way to reduce the trip time by 40 minutes. It cost them £6 billion to make that change necessary. Rory challenged that if you gave that same problem to a group that was less focused on the facts, but rather on the consumer and their experience, one could have come up with, by installing free Wi-Fi, consumers would have had an equally as pleasant experience, and it would have been approximately 0.01% of the cost. Yes, this is one rather simple example, which seems so obvious in hindsight, but it made me think. So much of my life previously was about the facts. You get a problem, you come up with a solution. It's all very linear. Rational ideas versus creative ideas. And as a society, Rory talks about how we often prioritize rational ideas versus those that are more creative, more emotional, more psychologically driven. He challenges that there needs to be balance. For him, it's a sweet spot between technology, economics, and psychology. And as we've framed it here at Red Pepper, there's value in both art and science. What I challenge is that we're not using art to make our science look pretty, but we're really using both to view client problems and come up with unique solutions for them. Our core value is that we provide creativity with provable benefits. Let's be sure that we're always lifting that up and that we're allowing our creativity to thrive, to drive solutions, while of course not negating the facts.